What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sooner Nation podcast. We're going to run the gauntlet tonight. We've got Thunder basketball to talk about. We've got Oklahoma Sooner basketball to talk about. We've got football to talk about. There is a new tight end coach in Norman. I'm sure you've heard about that. Softball, less than a month with softball. So like I said, we're going to be all over the place tonight. So glad that you're with us on this episode. And we're going to do something that I'm pretty sure I've never done before with this podcast. We're going to start by talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Not just as much to get it out of the way, but pretty significant what happened with Utah on Wednesday night. And then we've got so much with the Jason Witten talk, what happened to the men's basketball team in Starkville, Mississippi. And I want to talk a little bit of softball with you as well. So let's jump into this. There are regular season wins, and then there are moments that tell you exactly who a team is becoming. And for the Thunder, Wednesday night at the Paycom Center, I think was the second kind. The 129-125 overtime win over Utah, it's going to show up in the standings as just another January victory. Win number 32, by the way. Another home game, another big stat line for SGA. And if you stop there, if you only read the box score, I think you'll completely miss why this game mattered. Because this wasn't about math. It was about identity. This was a stress test, and the Thunder passed it. So let's start with the obvious here. Oklahoma City played bad basketball for long stretches of this game. They shot a season worst 18% from three-point range. They blew a 20-point lead. They watched control slip through their fingers in real time. And for a moment, after Markkanen's putback with just 3 seconds left, it felt like one of those losses young teams wear for weeks. But, that's the moment where doubt creeps in. That's the moment where you start pressing, forcing shots, hunting threes, trying to erase mistakes instead of responding to them. That's the moment where good teams fade. And great teams, conversely, they reveal themselves. And SGA, he didn't fade. He didn't rush. He didn't panic. He didn't hunt a miracle. He did what he always does. He got to a spot, 13 feet. He was balanced. He was calm. And he was automatic. The buzzer-beating mid-range jumper that sent this game into overtime, it wasn't flashy. It wasn't dramatic in the Steph Curry sense, but it was destined. And that's what makes it terrifying, I think, for the rest of the league. 46 points for SGA, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, another, quote, normal night for a player who has somehow turned elite into routine. But that shot wasn't about the stat line. That shot was about refusing to let one bad quarter define the entire night. Because make no mistake, this game had every excuse to go sideways. The Thunder had dominated early. They watched that dominance evaporate. They felt the energy swing. They felt the pressure. And instead of tightening up, they leaned into something far more sustainable than just hot shooting. They leaned into their discipline. And that shot was the clearest indicator yet that SGA isn't just a superstar. He's a closer. He understands moments. He understands patience. And maybe more importantly, he understands trust. Trust in his game. Trust in his work. Trust that he doesn't need to reinvent himself when the lights kind of get bright. But if Shai forced overtime, I think you got to look at Chet Holmgren. He's the dude who won the game. 30 seconds left in the overtime. You got a tie game, possession shrinking. SGA actually misses. And this is where championship habits show themselves. Instead of watching the ball, instead of hoping, instead of drifting to the perimeter, Holmgren went and took the moment. He attacks the glass, elevated through traffic, and finished a putback. Maybe a dunk, maybe just a slap the rim one, but whatever. It gave Oklahoma City the lead for good. And that won't be the highlight everyone remembers. Everyone's going to remember the clutch shot to force overtime. But this play, this moment, may be the most important play of the night because it wasn't finesse. It was growth. For all the talk about Chet Holmgren as a unicorn, about skill, spacing, shooting, that play was about physicality and timing and toughness against a Jazz front court that included some big guys like Yusuf Nurkic. Holmgren didn't avoid contact. He didn't float. He imposed himself. And the result, his stat line for the night, 23 points, 12 rebounds, winning time basketball. Those are all things that Oklahoma City needs from their big guys. Certainly, they're all things that matter. And here's why this one goes far beyond the final score. Almost nothing went right offensively from deep for Oklahoma City. Open looks, they didn't fall. Rhythm shots didn't fall. Shots this team usually makes, they just flat out didn't go in. And instead of stubbornly forcing plan A, the Thunder adjusted. They attacked the rim. They forced contact. They lived at the free throw line. 42 free throw attempts. 81% conversion rate. That's not luck, man. That is awareness. Great teams, they don't panic when plan A fails. They pivot. And Oklahoma City realized early in the fourth quarter that this just wasn't a shooting night. So they made it a different game. They slowed it down. They made it physical. They dragged Utah into a possession-by-possession grind, and they dared the Jazz to keep up. And they couldn't. And that's important because playoff basketball looks a lot more like this game than it does a random November blowout. Shots dry up in the playoffs. Legs get heavy. Whistles matter. Possessions shrink. And the Thunder didn't just survive that environment. They were able to control it. And let's talk about the mental side for just a minute. This was a Thunder team coming off of 2 straight losses. So you're looking at a team staring down its first 3-game skid in 2 years, facing a Jazz squad desperate to stop their own bleeding. So the situation was primed for frustration. Instead, Oklahoma City, they just showed patience. Jalen Williams quietly orchestrated the offense with 8 assists. He didn't force his scoring. He didn't hijack possessions. He made the right reads. The ball just didn't stick. That moment didn't overwhelm them. That's not talent. That is maturity. Yeah, sure, Utah's struggling. Yep, they've lost 5 straights. Everyone's aware of that. But anyone dismissing this win because of Utah's record doesn't understand the NBA grind. No one hands you overtime wins. You earn them. You take them. And Oklahoma City took this one with force. This wasn't a coronation. It wasn't a masterpiece. It was something valuable, though. It was proof. It was proof that the Thunder can win when the 3 isn't falling. It was proof that they can recover emotionally after blowing a big lead. Proof that their best player, he wants the ball with everything on the line. And that his teammates, they trust him implicitly. It was proof that their cornerstone can finish games with strength, not just skill. And at 31-7, the Thunder, they don't need moral victories. What they need is preparation. They need some battle scars. They need nights where nothing comes easy. And Wednesday gave them all of that. So when the playoffs do arrive, no one's going to care that Oklahoma City once shot 18% from three-point range back in January. But the Thunder, they'll remember how they won this game. They'll remember the composure, the fight, the discipline. They'll remember that when everything felt like it was slipping away, 1 shot and 1 rebound, they were enough to take control back. That wasn't just a win. That was a warning. And this season, look, man, the league's starting to hear it. Make sure you're following us on Instagram and Facebook, Heartland Sports, both on both platforms. You listen to the Sooner Nation podcast. Jason Witten, Oklahoma's new tight ends coach. I guess we need to talk about that.